ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாமா? ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றோம்.
எந்த சமயம் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாம்?
ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணலாம். யூனிவர்சிட்டி வீடியோ ஆன் பண்றேன்.
நான் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிரட்டுமா? வெல்கம். Okay.
Can we start, doctor?
Yes, we start. வாழ்க வையகம்.
வாழ்க வையகம். வாழ்க வையகம். வாழ்க வளமுடன். குரு வாழ்க, குருவே துணை. Be blessed by the divine. It's a unique opportunity for all of us to go through this consciousness 360 degrees. We welcome each and every one of you. And today is a wonderful day. And we are going to have an excellent program designed and developed by Dr. Ravindranath Iyer. And his brainchild that we should all come together to discuss, to start the journey of this consciousness. And it is an excellent way that all the eminent senior professors are with us, and they will all be giving us a wonderful step towards the divinity. So let us now begin with Ire Vanakkam and Guru Vanakkam. Over? Right. Okay. That means I missed it. Okay, thank you. Can we start, Doctor?
Be blessed by the divine.
Please. Be blessed by the divine.
Song on divinity.
Yeah?
எல்லாம் வல்ல தெய்வமது எங்கும் உள்ளது நீ கமர சொல்லால் மட்டும் நம்பாதே சுயமாய் சிந்தித்தே தெளிவாய் வல்லாய் உடலில் இயக்கமவன் வாழ்வில் உயிரில் அறிவுமவன் கல்லார் கற்றார் செயல் விளைவாய் காணும் இன்ப துன்பமவன் அவனின் இயக்கம் அணுவாற்றல் அணுவின் கூட்டு பக்குவம் நீ அவனில் தான் நீ உன்னிலவன் அவன் யார் நீ யார் பிரிவேது அவனை மறந்தால் நீ சிறியோன் அவனை அறிந்தால் நீ பெரியோன் அவன் நீ ஒன்றாய் அறிந்த இடம் அறிவு முழுமை அது முக்தி எல்லாம் வல்ல தெய்வமது எங்கும் உள்ளது நீ கமர. Song in praise of the masters. சிந்தையை அடக்கி சும்மா இருக்கின்ற சீரறிய செய்த குருவே அந்த நிலை தனில் அறிவு அசைவற்றிருக்கு பெரும் ஆனந்தம் பொங்குதங்கே இந்த பெரும் உலகம் இசை எடுத்த பல பிறவிகளின் இறுதி பயனாகிய சந்ததமும் இணை மறவாத சாந்த வாழ்வழித்தோய் என் சந்தோஷ செய்தி இதுவே.
Meditation by Dr. Rajshekhar?
Be blessed by the divine. He is not available here. Let me conduct the meditation. Be blessed by the divine. The atmosphere around us is purified by the divine power. The atmosphere around us is purified by the divine power. The atmosphere around us is purified by the divine power. The divine energy descends upon us and we are being purified and blessed. The divine energy descends upon us. We are purified and blessed. The divine energy descends upon us. We are purified and blessed. The divine power may protect us, guide us, and lead us in all our activities, day and night, in all places, at all times. Salutations to Mother. Salutations to Father. Salutations to the spiritual master, Vedatri Maharishi. We will do Thiriyam meditation. We will start the meditation at Agnya Chakra. Those who are new to the meditation, you can focus on the breath and do the meditation, or you can analyze.
கொஞ்சம் ஏதாவது
Turiyam. Be blessed by the divine. We are concluding the meditation. Spread the energy throughout the body. All the cells in the body are purified and blessed. Auto-suggestion. By the grace of divine power, we all may enjoy good health, long life, prosperity, wisdom, and peace. By the grace of divine power, we all may enjoy good health, long life, prosperity, wisdom, and peace. By the grace of divine power, we all may enjoy good health, long life, prosperity, wisdom, and peace. Let us bless the Vedatrian principles formed by our Guru Vedatri Maharishi. Be blessed by the divine. Let us bless the World Community Service Center. Be blessed by the divine. Let us bless the Temple of Consciousness at Aliyar. Be blessed by the divine. Let us bless all the participants who are assembled here and their family members. Be blessed by the divine. Twofold moral vow. I, in my lifetime, will not cause pain to others, physically or mentally. To the extent possible, I will remove the pain of others. I, in my lifetime, will not cause pain to others, physically or mentally. To the extent possible, I will remove the pain of others. I, in my lifetime, will not cause pain to others, physically or mentally. To the extent possible, I will remove the pain of others. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. May there be peace within us. May there be peace around us. May there be peace in the whole world. Peace, peace, peace. Gently rub your palms and fingers. Pass the energy over the face. Take your hands up. Take a deep breath. Then bring your hands down. Be blessed by the divine.
Thank you, Professor. So, thank you once again, all of you. With the grace of divine blessings and of Guruji's blessings, we have great pleasure to welcome all of you for this wonderful program, Consciousness 360. I now request our director, Dr. Ravindranath Iyer.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Fresh.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். வாழ்க வளமுடன் is my precise, wholehearted, divine welcome to one and all. At the outset, I thank Divinity and Maharishi for directing us to take up these steps to understand consciousness better and pass it on to others, our brothers and sisters all over the world. Consciousness is divinity. It cannot be defined or explained, as we have been struggling all through the ages to understand divinity and consciousness. I am happy to perceive the sincere, wholehearted commitment of my brethren in this subject of consciousness. I feel we all have come together to understand consciousness, the great ocean. This meeting is only a beginning. Please be with me and give all your mind and spirit for this meeting. Kindly believe when I say that I am intuitively driven by our Divine Father Maharishi in this endeavor, in organizing, in pursuing this effort. Kindly tune your frequency to receive the same intuitive message of Maharishi, to take the philosophy of consciousness to the whole world for its betterment and world peace. Regarding this meeting, which was planned in a very short interval of just 10 days, it is only a preliminary meeting, a beginning. With great expectations, I have selected precious pearls of eminent scholars of Vedadriyam, wanting to make a beautiful jewelry out of it. Encourage me with your cooperation and involvement. I invite your valuable suggestions in days to come. Go deep into your selected subject, gather all the ideas and views of Maharishi and present it in the form of an article. Collectively, all your presentations will form a valuable book on Maharishi and consciousness. Ambitiously, I have a large band of nearly 20 speakers in this meeting, 10 minutes each for each speaker, totals to 200 minutes. So I request all of you to keep your and our time restricted to 10 minutes for each speech. Give your acceptance by taking up the subject and give a brief account of your subject. Introduce the subject with your ideas in this regard. Subsequently, we will have a longer presentation in 5 installments. 4 speakers will have 45 minutes each for their subject, and we will have 5 such meetings in the following weeks. This will give an opportunity to explain fully. We expect the evolving book to be a reference source for research. Now, we have the pleasant blessings from Reverential Swami Guruparananda, a conscientiously conscious Swami, known to us, and also to our philosophy. And he is sending his blessings through this. Be blessed by the divine. He observed consciousness is an independent existential entity. It is a part of it is Sachidanandam, Sat Chit Anantam. Consciousness is Sat, essential divinity, totality, and absolute space. Experience and practice it with your body, mind, and spirit. The Panchakoshas. Involve the Panchakoshas in experiencing this consciousness. Mind is only Chitakasa, and the totality is plenum, force, and consciousness also. Maharishi says it is consciousness and it is in the world as order of function. And understand consciousness, and that is what we are deliberating on, and be blessed by the divine. So this is the brief introductory blessings and his ideas about consciousness. More will follow in the subsequent days. I stand before you not as an individual. If you see me, you will see, you will have, with your divine vision, you can see divinity and our beloved Maharishi behind me, Swami Guruparananda, and our own Swami Santalinga Mardasala Adigalar, with ever charming, encouraging President SKM and Chinnasamy Ayya along with. Recognize and see the Chennai team led by Janaki Raman and Balachandran. The Hosur team led by Zonal President Rangasamy and Dr. Shanmugavel. And the Bangalore team led by Dr. Dhanapati and Karthik of Nimmans Bangalore. Do not miss to recognize the Trimurtis three Satyamurtis from Ooty, Guntur, and Bangalore. Delhi represented by Parameshwaran, Sivasankari, and Naresh and others. Naturally, our directors N.A. Perumal, K. Perumal, S. Lakshmane, M.K. Damodaran, Sadasivam of Erode, Krish Murali Iswar, Dr. Rajshekar of Siddha, Director Kutralam, and R&D team all are with me. The unmentioned larger team of WCSC and administration is also with us and will join us in the subsequent district. Let us stand united to excel, to take up this difficult task of exploring the consciousness 360 degrees with the divine blessings of Swamiji and his revelations and his philosophy. I am sure we will be able to cross and achieve success in understanding and introducing Maharishi's philosophy of consciousness 360 degrees to the world for its betterment and world peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. It was an excellent, simple, and a humble beginning. It is really remarkable that that is definitely we are all indebted to you for this brainchild and to explore and bring in all the eminent senior-most professors of our team. It is an excellent platform for all of us, even though the field is so vast, and we all know the scientific philosophy of our Maharishi. We always tell it is simple and humble, but behind all that, in depth, if you go and travel, the vastness of this universe, no one can imagine. That is the depth of Maharishi's contribution. We are ever grateful to him. And let us now start with the professors. We will call upon one by one, and let us all eagerly waiting for the whole 2 years on this great session of consciousness 360 degrees. Can I now call upon Professor Balachandraya and Rajashekaran?
Thanks to this wonderful opportunity to be a part of this journey of consciousness. I'm sure this great project will be successful to the satisfaction of Vedadri Maharishi, because we are starting on a very auspicious day, Bharatiyar's anniversary, who almost 100 years back declared Arive Devam, consciousness is divinity. And then he says, Vetta Veliyai, Arivai, Veripala Shaktigale Kuttum Mugilai. He says absolute space, consciousness, divinity. Exactly 100 years after, we are starting this project. And in this 100 years, Swamiji has been deeper into it and telling exactly how the process, how consciousness works, and how divinity is consciousness, but how that consciousness functions at all levels. And the topic given to me is divinity and consciousness. Understanding consciousness will be Mahayoga. I'll explain that. We generally say, the definition of yoga is harmony. So we talk about harmony between body, mind, and life force, harmony in the family. But what Maharishi wanted by the understanding of consciousness is, it is going to bring about harmony in all the fields. That's why it's called Mahayoga. He wants, by proper understanding of consciousness, that there will be harmony between religions, harmony between spirituality and science, harmony in political administration, harmony in economics, harmony in social life, harmony in education field. Such is the vastness of Maharishi's concept about consciousness, and the whole world to be one, to be peaceful, to be prosperous. And that is how we started the World Community Service Center. Now in 2002, we had a world conference on global vision and strategies for peace, non-violence, and harmony at Alia, held in 2002. He declared that now the time has come for the intellectuals. I'm very happy that Nimaz has taken up this project. Maybe they must have heard it, or it must have gone to them, Maharishi's voice. Now the time has come for the intellectuals of the world to assume the responsibility of reforming the world in accordance with the understanding of the real nature of God and universe. A visionary, Maharishi, is able to think forward and giving this statement. And he says, divinity is everything. I'm quoting from that statement he made in that world conference. He says, in fact, that one power, nature, has not created the universe out of anything external to itself. The creation theory he denies. He says the supreme power itself, with 4 dimensions of plenum, force,
சொல்லுங்கய்யா.
and time, has transformed
நானா?
the universe.
WC.
He defines the absolute space. Of course, due to lack of time, we will not be going into this, but one of the most beautiful definitions of absolute space, of which consciousness plays a very important role. He says there's nothing other than God itself, and it manifests. It has the cause and effect system, and that is through consciousness. And a definition of consciousness he gives is order of function in everything, everywhere, right from divinity and up to today, the same thing. If only we understand that, our ego will go and unity will be automatic. Again, consciousness and science is able to beautifully link these two. They're considered to be separate forces. Force and consciousness are inseparable. In science, we discuss about the force, but not the consciousness. Time has come to deal with consciousness. I'm quoting Swamiji. This understanding, this marriage between force and consciousness, between spirituality and science, would not only expand the horizon of science. There are many, many gaps in science today, but that can be gapped if consciousness is understood. But also it will result in science being used only for constructive purposes. He felt very bad that science is used for destructive purposes, and the gap between the haves and have-nots have been increasing. And he wanted that science can be used only conscientiously, and that is possible when we understand what consciousness is. And this result of understanding of consciousness will result in love and compassion, which will become natural, which are the qualities of divinity. Its expression in inanimate and animate beings would be the bridge removing the gaps in all fields. We find in economics there's a gap because the starting point itself is wrong. In political administration, the starting point is wrong because we have not taken into consideration the origin and how it has evolved. And so religions also out of confusion is there. And that would bring about peace and prosperity at all levels, right from the individual to the world or even to the universe, and which is the birthright of all of us. With this, I would like to close this session so that all of us would like to hear from everyone. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. Let us travel in this journey towards inner universe and become one with the universe and even beyond. Be blessed by the divine. Sir, you can continue with the next speaker, sir.
அன்மியூட் பண்ணி ஆமா அதுதான் நீங்க கொஞ்சம் ஹேண்ட் ரைஸ் பண்ணீங்கன்னா அன்மியூட் பண்றது ஈஸியா.
Bangalore settling.
Thank you, Professor. The next
N.A. Perumal.
Professor Satyamurthy from Bangalore. Can you please hand raise? Your phone is coming engaged.
N.A. Perumal.
So that we can unmute you, sir.
இதில் பேச முடியும். N.A. Perumal பேச சொல்லுங்க.
Okay, Satyamurthy is not lifting the phone. Okay, let us now
Go to N.A. Perumal.
request Dr. N.A. Perumal. Can you please unmute on the line? And Dr. N.A. Perumal, eminent professor and director, he will enlighten us on mind. Manam.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். வாழ்க
Walhamada.
audible?
Yes, audible.
Very happy to be here for this August section. The subject I was allotted for the mind. Mind is a very important tool of the body. Without mind, a living being cannot be identified as surviving at all. The assertive, receptive, and communicative capacity are all vested through the mind. Is anatomically not traced, but physiologically being functioning well to the nervous system. The reflex activity and the voluntary controlled through the mind. The mind is like a screen to make the person view the outside world. An incomparable and divine mystery is the mind. It is a tricky and slippery principle that cannot be brought into our usual calculations of volume, force, time, and distance. The wonderful principle mind is provided for human mind by the supreme powerful principle of the universe, God, the nature. So cannot be separated from the man, just like a force and conscious cannot be separated from pluram. Mind cannot be separated from man. Man has the providential right to deal with his own mind. He enjoys or suffers all the results of his thoughts and actions as benefits or otherwise. Because of the free grant of the mind by the Supreme Being, we neglect to respect and realize properly the volume of this treasure. Thus, the subject of mind is not found in all fields of life, especially in teaching and research. Because of the lack of realization of the value of mind in religions, people are tortured and killed to satisfy and save God. Because of the non-realization of the value of mind, the politicians give prominence to isms, as mankind remains suffering from poverty, illiteracy, illness, and wars. Swamiji, for a long time, Swamiji says, I was swimming in the ocean of mind in order to understand its value, existence, functions, and results. I could not realize the fact that the principle I was searching for was the very one in which I was swimming. In fact, in and around me, only the great ocean of mind was ubiquitously functioning. All the time, in all my activities, I perceived that I am the mind wave, which is nothing but biomatter wave, taking all the shapes and images of my vision, and at the same time, I was feeling the result as enjoyable or otherwise. At this point, I realized that only the mind as the biomatter wave takes the shapes and images of everything I perceive, and at the same time, I, as the mind, am enjoying the benefits as pleasure, pain, peace, and ecstasy. Mind is a very important tool of the body. Without mind, a living being cannot be identified as surviving at all. The assertive, receptive, and communicative capacities are all vested through the mind only. Mind is anatomically not traced, but physiologically being functioning well, connected with the nervous system. Here to note that the reflex activity and the voluntary and involuntary activities of the living beings are generally controlled through the mind. Our mind is like a screen to make the person view the outside world inwardly. So you all know that mind is one of the important modification of primordial nature. Mind is characterized by a will to do and a will to withdraw it also. The study of mind at the outset requires a specific distinction from the brain. The brain is said to be like the hardware in computer and the mind is software. In particularly, to be specific, the invisible dimension of the brain is the mind and the visible dimension of the mind is the brain. Brain is a physical entity and coordinates distinctive portion of the nervous system. So here we have to know that you all know that we are having the tracks, that is ascending and descending tracks. For instance, the ascending tract is the sensory tract which transmits the nerve impulses from the peripheral organs to the brain. The descending tract is the motor tract which sends the nerve impulses from the brain to the muscles and glands. So brain is related to the sensory system and actions too. On the other hand, mind is having more inclination for the sensory aspects and emotional dimensions. Brain is connected with the nervous system and physical mass associated with the same. On the other hand, the mind is connected with the genetic center. Mind is lexicographically defined as the faculty of consciousness thought. Maharishi defines mind to be the feeler of all the transformation of biomagnetism into sensation, the realization of all the experiences and that which reacts accordingly. Mind is also said to be an extended way of magnetism. Because mind is said to be only the faculty, it is formless. As it is formless, it has no structure of its own. Only the structure of the brain can be taken as the structure of mind by default. The functions of mind can be found as three. One is consciousness, another is thought, third to feel sensations, to reach, to react and also to witness the transformation of biomagnetism. About the consciousness, it is the attribute of the nature. It is present in every stage of universal evolution and is responsible for all the order of functions precisely as and how it is necessary. Wherever the principle of force starts functioning, the companion attribute consciousness directs and regulates the force with pattern, precision and regularity. Under this immutable law of nature, the conscious is immanently present in all the kinds of transformation magnetism. You all know that the force and conscious cannot be separated from the plurum. The same way mind cannot be separated from man. The words consciousness and mind are one and the same in meaning. The word conscious is used elaborately in both the fields of philosophy and science. The word mind is used to describe the behavioral qualities of living beings. Actually, the inner meaning of both the word is one and the same. Here, the force and conscious are inseparable, undifferentiated, indistinguishable and indivisible. All the structural values that are perceivable to the sense are determined by force, and all the qualities that are imperceptible or imponderable are determined by consciousness. These two values of quantity and quality are the manifestation of force and consciousness. Conscious, which maintains order of function in everything, is the invisible quality of nature. Consciousness directs and orders the compressive or repulsive forces of everything by determining and maintaining the three parameters of pattern, that is structural specifications, precision, the sum of characters and qualities accrued up to the present, and regularity, the timing of everything. The thought. Thought literally means an idea, process of thinking careful consideration. Thought can be defined as the manifestation of the experiences which the mind had already in association with. Thought is the peak of nature. The nature sensed in the thought, hence the thought is a thought. Thought expands unfathomably in the open space. To be specific, thought is the involuntary repercussion of the magnetic wave when they traverse the zones of sky, air, fire, water, earth. Thought always represents repulsive. The third one is to feel sensation. The mind has to feel the sensation and the same is expressed through the thoughts. The sensation are very much creative emotional perspective. When the magnetic reaction is found through the ego or self, it is desire. Thought cannot be separated from the human body. The human body is like an electric bulb and the thought is like the glow of the bulb. You are all aware that as the passage of electric current with different voltages makes the same bulb shine very much glow, normally and with dim light. The ventilation of a thought makes the sensory organs and motor organs to function very much effectively, efficiently, normally and weakly too. Whenever there is the current of biomagnetism unperturbed and very much connected with the universal magnetic network, then the body functions efficiently and effectively. When the equilibrium is maintained between the systems of body and the biomagnetism, the body works normally. When the biomagnetism is not properly conducted inwardly or outwardly, the muscular forces shrinks in and it is the conditions of the disease. All this is done through the thought only. Thought basically means the pressure created through an imprint. If the imprint is more conducive, it gives pressure. If the imprint is very much normal, it is comfortable and tolerable. And when the imprint is very much disadvantageous, it is keeping the body in a condition of not being at ease. In such a situation, the thought itself turns silent catalyst for the promotion of ill health. The thoughts are very much positive when they are palatable to the day-to-day way of life and allow all pressures and receptivity within the tolerable ranges. They are said to be good thoughts. Here, good thoughts, good means which is acceptable to the body-mind complex for maintaining as internal and external equilibrium. All the good thoughts reduce the self-compressive surrounding pressure force of the body mass and it naturally promotes ability and stability. And the bad thoughts, on the other hand, the thoughts are said to be of the negative character when they accelerate pressure, reduce receptivity and communicability and tend intolerable in quality and quantity. They are said to be the bad thoughts. Here, bad means which is not acceptable to the body-mind complex for maintaining as internal and external equilibrium. Transgression of both the limit and method of the thought is the major reasons for ill health. Some of the imprints of the thoughts are very much suicidal. The addition to liquor, telling lies, harming the others, unnecessary adultery, and ingratitude to those who have helped or considered to be the major sinful activities. And the imprints are said to be sinful imprints. And the role of mind in carving our personality. See, after understanding the mind as an imprint and biometric wave, and after understanding the 10 stages of mind, it is very much essential to estimate the role of mind in carving your personality. Personality literally means the qualities that form a person's character, qualities that make someone interesting or popular. Both these meanings make it very clear that the personality does not mean with something that is related with the physical presence of an individual, but it is very much qualitative and controlling an individual. The control units can be found in the sexual vital fluid and it is byproduct of the biomagnetism. If the biomagnetic content is qualitative, quantitative and has the balance in expenditure and repetition, then the body can be full of vitality and force. It is the biomagnetism that makes the network of the thoughts very much powerful. And when the individual is entering good thoughts, he wishes the well-being of one and all. The same function as guarding unit against the arts, and one can save himself and energy by those thoughts. It is the mind that is determines of the personality. If the mindset is positive and always thinking of the benefits of the human man without narrow mindedness and reservations, then one can be away from the stress. And importance of mental health. Promote the great people like Vedanta Maharishi always try to entertain only the positive thoughts. They loved the others and were compassionate. With love, they want to hold the others, and with compassion, they want to feed the others. The importance of health. The importance of mental health can be found due to the following reasons: promotion of stress-free life, need of memory and restoration, need of biomagnetic balance, neurophysiological efficiency, and personality development. Regarding the promotion of stress-free life, mental health always contributes to the promotion of stress-free life. An individual can live to life without anxiety, worry, and immoral attitude. Such a condition mentally promotes the ability of the individual. Need of the biomagnetic balance. If the biomagnetic balance is properly maintained, then the relationship between the object and subject can be firm and will not be oscillating. It can be achieved only through the neurophysiological efficiency. The mental health is essential in order to ensure and assure the neurophysiological efficiency. Conclusion: only the mind is the utilizing principle of all these treasures
இப்போ நீங்க பேசலாம்.
a beneficial and harmonious life. Hence, Swamiji earnestly requests the leaders of the human society to focus their attention spreading the knowledge about mind. Swamiji will say, knowledge of God is religion and knowledge of mind is one without the other can never be complete. Thanking you. வாழ்த்துக்கள். வாழ்க வளமுடன். Be blessed by the divine power.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Thank you, doctor. Thank you for enlightening us such a great details. And next, we have great pleasure in calling upon Senior Professor M.K. Damodaranaya to enlighten us on meditation and consciousness. தவமும் உணர்வு நிலையை பற்றி சொல்லலாம்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வளமுடன். குரு வாழ்க, குருவே துணை. அற்புதமான இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை வடிவமைத்து அறிவை பற்றி இதுவரைக்கு அங்கங்கு இனாதபடி எங்கும் பிரகாசமாய் ஆனந்த பூர்த்தியாயி என்ற வார்த்தைக்கு விஞ்ஞானத்தோடு என்ன மாதிரி இணைக்கலாம் என்று நினைத்துக் கொண்டிருந்தது உண்டு. அதற்கு அழகா கான்சியஸ்னஸ் 360 360 டிகிரியில அறிவு என்று அற்புதமாக தலைப்பை கொடுத்து நடத்தி கொண்டிருக்கின்ற R&D இயக்குனர் டாக்டர் ரவீந்திரநாத் மற்றும் அவர்கள் குழுமத்தினை சேர்ந்த அத்தனை பேருக்கும் என்னுடைய வாழ்த்துக்கள், வணக்கங்கள். இந்த இனிய நிகழ்ச்சியிலே கலந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்ற சிந்தனையாளர்கள் அத்தனை பேருக்கும் என்னுடைய அன்பு வணக்கங்களை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கின்றேன். 5:10 சரியாக 10 நிமிடம் 15 என்னுடைய 5:10 சரியாக 10 நிமிடம் மட்டும் ஒரே ஒரு விஷயத்தை மட்டுமே நான் உங்களிடம் பகிர்ந்து கொள்ள இருக்கின்றேன். அறிவு. எந்த அறிவு? கான்சியஸ்னஸ் 360 டிகிரிஸ் அற்புதமான தலைப்பு. எந்த அறிவு என்பதை பற்றி மட்டும் நம்ம உங்களிடம் பகிர்ந்து கொள்ள இருக்கின்றேன். அருள் தந்தை அவர்கள் அறிவை பற்றி நிறைய விஷயங்கள் நிறைய இடங்களிலே சொல்லி இருக்கின்றார்கள். அறிவே குருவணக்க பாடல்களிலேயே தான் அறிவையதான் தெய்வம் என்றார் தாயுமானர் என்று ஆரம்பித்து அறிவை அவர்கள் எல்லா இடங்களிலும் சொல்லி அறிவுக்கு கோயிலும் கண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள். அந்த அறிவு நாம இப்ப கற்றுக்கொண்டிருக்கின்ற அறிந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்ற அறிவு எந்த அறிவு இறைவனாக இருக்கிறது என்பதை பற்றி மட்டுமே நாம் இங்கே காண்கின்றோம். சிற்றறிவு மெல்ல சிதைந்து எம்மான் பேரறிவை உற்றறிய வண்ணம் அறிந்தோங்கும் நாள் என்னாலோ என்று தாயமானவர் குறிப்பிடுகிறார். சிற்றறிவு மெல்ல சிதைந்து என்னுள்ள இருக்கின்ற இந்த அறிவானது, அதாவது நான் அறிந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்ற அறிவானது சிற்றறிவு மெல்ல சிதைந்து எம்மான் பேரறிவை உற்றறியாமன்னம், இந்த பேரறிவாக எங்கும் நிறைந்திருக்கின்ற அந்த பேரறிவை சாதாரணமா நான் தியானத்திலே உற்று நோக்கி அறிவதாம சாதாரணமாக உற்றறியா வண்ணம் அறிந்து ஓங்கும் நாள் என்னாலோ என்று இயங்குவதாக பாடியிருக்கின்றார்கள். அதே மாதிரி திருவள்ளுவர் அவர்களும் கற்றதனால் ஆய பயனென்கொள் என்று சொல்கிறார். கற்றோம் கல்வி அது அறிவுதானே. ஆனா அந்த இடத்துல என்ன சொல்கின்றார்? கற்றதனால் ஆய பயனென்கொள். இந்த கல்வி கற்றதனால் என்னப்பா பயன்? வாலறிவன், அந்த முழுமையான அறிவை நற்றால் தொழாரின், இந்த வாலறிவை பிடிக்காமல் முழுமையான அறிவை அறியாமல் இதை நீ உணர்ந்ததனால் என்ன பயன், கற்றதனால் என்ன பயன் என்று கொள்கின்றார். அதே மாதிரி பெரும் ஜோதி பெரும் ஜோதி என்கின்றார் வள்ளலார் அவர்களும். சோ அத்தனை பேரும் அறிவை பற்றி உணர்வதை பற்றி வழங்கி இருக்கின்றார்கள். சிந்தனையாளர்களே, எந்த அறிவு என்பதுதான் நம்ம பார்க்கக்கூடிய வருது. அதாவது 4 வேதங்களிலும் மகா வாக்கியமான ஒரு வாக்கியம் பிரஜ்ஞானம் பிரம்மம் என்று சொல்லக்கூடியது. ரிக் வேதத்திலே சொல்லப்படுகின்ற பிரஜ்ஞானம் பிரம்மம் என்று சொல்லுவதுதான். அதுக்கு நேரடியான தமிழ் சொல் என்ன என்று சொன்னா அறிவே தெய்வம் என்று சொல்லப்படுவதுதான் நேரடியான தமிழ் அர்த்தம். சோ பாரதியார் அவர்கள் இதை வேதங்களிலிருந்து எடுத்துத்தான் கையாண்டு அந்த பாடலாக எழுதியிருக்கிறார்கள். பிரஜ்ஞானம் பிரம்மம் என்ற வார்த்தையை எடுத்து. சோ அப்போ அந்த அறிவு எது என்பதனாலதான் இங்கு சொல்கிறாரு, சுத்த அறிவை சிவமன்று ஓதும் சுருதிகள் கேளீரோ என்று சொல்கிறார். சுத்த அறிவு எது? அறிவு என்று சொன்னால் சுத்த அறிவு. சுத்த அறிவை சிவமன்று ஓதும் சுருதிகள் கேளீரோ, பித்த மதங்களிலே கிடந்து தடுமாறி பெருமை எழுவீரோ என்று சொல்கிறார். அந்த சுத்த அறிவை பெறுவது என்ற போது எது சுத்த அறிவு? அதாவது சுத்த அறிவுதான் பிரஜ்ஞானம் என்று சொல்லப்படுவது. பிரஜ்ஞானம் என்பது வேறு, விஞ்ஞானம் என்பது வேறு. பிரஜ்ஞான அறிவு என்பதும் விஞ்ஞான அறிவு என்பதும் வேறு வேறானது. விஞ்ஞானம் என்பது புலனறிவு. அதை மகான் ரமண மகர்ஷி அவர்கள் அழகாக அந்த இடத்தில் விளக்கிறார்கள். விஞ்ஞானம் என்பது புலனறிவு. நாம் சிறு வயதிலிருந்து இதுவரை கற்றுக்கொண்டே வருகிறோம் பாருங்க. இந்த அறிவை நாம டெவலப் பண்ணிக்கிறோம் இல்லையா, இந்த அறிவு விஞ்ஞான அறிவுன்னு சொல்கின்றோம். இந்த விஞ்ஞான அறிவுக்கும் பிரஜ்ஞானத்திற்கும் என்ன வித்தியாசம்ன்றதை நம்ம பார்த்தா ஈஸியா புரிஞ்சுக்கோம். ஓகேயா? சோ விஞ்ஞான அறிவு அப்படின்றது புலனிலிருந்து பெறக்கூடிய அறிவு. சிறு வயதிலிருந்து நாம் கற்றுதானே, பள்ளிக்கு கல்லூரிக்கு போய் கற்றுதானே இந்த அறிவை டெவலப் பண்ணிட்டோம். சோ விஞ்ஞான அறிவு என்பது கற்ற அறிவு, புலனறிவு என்று விளக்குகிறார். ஆனா விஞ்ஞான அறிவுக்கு என்ன இருக்கிறதுன்னு சொன்னா நினைப்பும் உண்டு, மறப்பும் உண்டு. ஓகேயா? இந்த விஞ்ஞான அறிவுக்கு வரக்கூடிய குறை என்னன்னு சொன்னா நினைப்பும் உண்டு, மறப்பும் உண்டு. நல்லா படிச்சுட்டு போயிருப்போம், சில சமயம் ஒரு ஃபார்முலா நமக்கு தெரியாது, அங்கே மறப்பு வந்து விடுகிறது. ஓகேயா? சோ அப்ப இந்த அறிவு நினைப்பும் மறப்புமாக இருக்கிற இந்த உடல் இருக்கின்ற வரைக்கும் மட்டுமே இருக்கக்கூடிய அறிவாக இருக்கக்கூடியதான் இந்த விஞ்ஞான அறிவாக இருக்கக்கூடியது இருக்கிறது. அப்போ தூங்கும் பொழுது விஞ்ஞான அறிவு இருக்கிறதா என்று சொன்னா தூங்கும் பொழுது விஞ்ஞான அறிவு இல்லை. ஓகேயா? தூங்கும் பொழுது விஞ்ஞான அறிவு இல்லை. ஏன்னா நமக்கு எதுவுமே இல்லையே, நினைவு இல்லையே. ஆனா இந்த பிறவியில் கற்ற விஞ்ஞான அறிவு அடுத்த பிறவிக்கு வருமா என்று சொன்னால் அதுவும் வராது. ஏன் என்று சொன்னால் இந்த பிறவி இந்த மூளை செல்கள் இயங்குகின்ற வரைக்கும் மட்டும்தான் அந்த அறிவு இருக்கும். அடுத்த பிறவியில போய் இப்ப எம்எஸ்சி படிச்சுட்டு அப்ப எம்பிஎல் பண்ண முடியாது. ஓகேயா? அப்ப மீண்டும் எல்கேஜில இருந்து தான் போக வேண்டியிருக்கும். இந்த அறிவை எடுத்துக்கொண்டு அதற்கு மேல இந்த ஆன்மா செல்லவே செல்லாது. ஆனா எந்த அறிவு எப்பொழுதும் நிலையாக இருக்குமோ அதுக்கு பெயர் தான் சுத்த அறிவு. அதற்கு பெயர் தான் பிரஜ்ஞானம் என்று பெயர். எந்த அறிவு இந்த பிறவியில் மட்டுமல்ல அதற்கு அடுத்த பிறவியிலும் நமக்கு வரக்கூடியதாக இருக்கக்கூடியதோ அந்த அறிவுக்கு பெயர் தான் பிரஜ்ஞானம் அல்லது சுத்த அறிவு என்ற பெயர். சோ அப்போ எங்கிருந்து விஞ்ஞான அறிவு உதிக்கின்றதோ அந்த மூலம் பிரஜ்ஞானம் என்ற பெயர். விஞ்ஞான அறிவு உதிப்பதற்கு அடிப்படையாக இருக்கின்ற, மூலமாக இருக்கின்ற அறிவுக்கு பேரு பிரஜானம் அல்லது உண்மை அறிவு என்ற பெயர். அப்போ அந்த பிரஜானம் என்பது வெளியிலிருந்து கற்றுக்கொள்வதில்லை. பிரஜானம் என்பது அகநோக்காக ஆன்மாவில் கற்றுக்கொள்கிறது. மனதை உயிர் ஒடுக்கி உயிரை தன் மூலத்தில் நிலைநிறுத்தி கற்றுக்கொள்ளக்கூடிய அறிவுக்கு பேர் தான் பிரஜானம் என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய அறிவு. சோ அதுக்கு பேரு சுய வேத்தியம். அதற்கு என்ன வேண்டும் அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்கன்னு சொன்னா, ஒண்ணுமே வேண்டாம், நீ அதன் மேல மனதை நிறுத்தினாலே போதும். உயிர் மேல் உயிர் வைத்து நின்றாலே அது தான் தன்னை அறிந்து கொள்ளும். அதற்கு நீ ஒன்றும் வேறொன்றும் எடுத்து செல்ல வேண்டியதில்லை. அப்போது நம்ம இதுல இருக்கிறது பாருங்க, சூரியனை பார்க்கறதுக்கு நம்ம லைட் எடுத்துட்டு போக வேண்டியதில்லை. இந்த பிரஜானம் என்பது சுயவேத்தியம் என்று சொல்லப்படுகிறது. தானே ஒளியாக இருக்கக்கூடியது. அந்த ஒளியின் மேல் நீ நின்றாலே போதும், அது ஒளிபெற காரணமாக இருக்கிறது. அப்ப அந்த சுத்த அறிவை ஒரு அடையும் பொழுது ஞானம் கிட்டுகிறது. அதுதான் அறிவே தெய்வமாக இருக்குதுன்னு சொல்றோம். எல்லாவற்றையும் அறிய வைக்கின்ற மூல அறிவை தவிர வேறு எது அந்த அறிவாக இருக்க முடியும்? எந்த ஒன்றை அறிந்தால் எல்லாவற்றையும் அறிந்து கொள்ள முடியுமோ, எந்த ஒன்றை அறிந்த பிறகு இனி நான் அறிவதற்கு ஏதும் இல்லை என்று மனம் எண்ணுகிறதோ, எந்த ஒன்றை அறிந்த பிறகு மனம் நிர்ச்சலனமாக நிற்கின்றதோ, அந்த அறிவு எதாக இருக்கிறது சொன்னா, தட் இஸ் த கான்சியஸ்னஸ் 360 டிகிரி. அந்த அறிவுதான் மூலமான அறிவாக இருக்கிறது, எல்லாம் அறிந்த அறிவாக இருக்கிறது. சோ அந்த அறிவை அதுதான் அனைத்துமாக வரக்கூடியது அந்த அறிவாகவே இருக்கிறது. அந்த அறிவை பெறுவதற்காகத்தான் நாம் என்ன செய்கிறோம்? வாழ்க்கையில தியானம் என்று செய்கின்றோம். வெளியில் இருந்தல்ல, அகநோக்கி உள்ளே பார்த்து தியானம் செய்கின்றோம். மனதை உயிர் மேல் நிறுத்தி, மீண்டும் அந்த மனதை உயிரில் நிறுத்தி நிலைத்த பிறகு மீண்டும் அந்த உயிரின் மேலேயே மீண்டும் நிலை பெற்று தானாக நின்று தன்னையும் மறவாமல் பிறிதொன்றும் அறியாமலே நிலைத்து நின்று, அப்படி நிலைத்து நின்ற பிறகு அதுவே தனக்கு வழிவிட்டு இந்த ஆன்மா வெளிப்புறமாக இதுவரை இந்த எடுத்து வந்த ஆன்மா தூய்மை வரும்போது, களங்கம் இல்லாம இருக்கும்போது அந்த மூல அறிவை நம்ம எளிதாக பெற முடிகிறது. அந்த மூல அறிவோடு நாம ஒடுங்கினா அதெல்லாம் நமக்கு எடுக்கிறது. அப்போ அவர் சொன்ன மாதிரி இந்த அறிவு மறந்து போய், இந்த வேலை கற்ற அறிவு மறந்து, பற்றறிவு மறந்து, அப்போதான் முற்றறிவு நமக்கு நிலையாகிறது. அந்த முற்றறிவை உணர்ந்தால் இந்த பிரபஞ்சம் முழுவதும் 360 டிகிரி எங்கும் எதுவும் எல்லாம் நடப்பதையும் ஒவ்வொன்றுக்குள்ளும் அதுவே அறிவாக இருப்பதையும் உணர்ந்து கொள்ள முடிகிறது. அந்த நிலையை பெறுவதற்குத்தான் நாம் தவம் என்பதை செய்கின்றோம். சோ தவத்திலே நம்ம போக 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 கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா வாழ்க்கை முழுவதும் எவ்வளவு நாளைக்கு என்று அருள் தந்தை அவர்கள் சொல்றார் பாருங்க, தொடர்ந்தோறும் உடலும் உயிரும் இருக்கின்ற வரையிலே தினந்தோறும் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா செய்து அந்த நிலையை நாம் அடையும் போது நிச்சயமாக நாம வாழ்வில் எந்த நிலையை அடைய வேண்டுமோ அந்த நிலையை அடைவோம் என்று கூறி, ஒன்று பிரமம் உள்ளது அது உண்மை, அது உன் உணர்வேனும் வேதம் எல்லாம். ஒன்று பிரமம் உள்ளது அது உண்மை, அது உன் உணர்வேனும் வேதம் எல்லாம். எது அதுவாக இருக்கிறது? அது கடைசியில் உன் உணர்வாக மட்டுமே இருக்கக்கூடியது. மெய் உணர்வுடன் மெய்யுணர்வு பெற்று அறிவு தன் மூலத்தை அறிந்து இறைநிலையை பயணிக்கிறது. சோ அப்ப அந்த ஒன்றுதான் பிரம்மம், அந்த ஒன்றுதான் பேரறிவாக இருக்கிறது. அதை உணரும் பொழுது சிவம் சுத்த அறிவுதான். அது மலரும் பொழுது தூய அன்பும் கரணியமாக எழுகிறது. சோ இறைவன் எழுச்சி பெற்றது தன் பெருமையும் தன் மதிப்பையும் உணர்த்துவதற்கு பல கோடி பரிணாமங்களில் பஞ்சபூதங்களில் இருந்து ஓரறிவு முதல் ஆறறிவாக மலர்ச்சி பெற்று வந்து 6வது அறிவு மட்டுமே தன் மூலத்தை உணர்ந்து முடிவில் அதோடு சங்கமிக்கிறது. சோ மனிதனுக்கு உள்ளம் பெரும் கோயில், ஊனடம்பு ஆலயம். அதில் அறிவியதான் தெய்வமாக இருக்கிறது. உணரும் போது ஒவ்வொரு மனிதரும் ஒரு நடமாடும் அறிவித்திருக்கோயில், அதை உணரும் அறிவே தெய்வமாக இருக்கிறது என்று கூறி செவிமடித்த உங்கள் அத்தனை பேருக்கும் என் அன்பை, வணக்கத்தை, மகிழ்ச்சியை தெரிவித்து நிறைவு செய்து கொள்கிறேன். வணக்கம், வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Thank you, Professor. It was an excellent journey with you. And we now call upon Dr. Dhanapati from Bangalore. He will enlighten us on Genetic Center Karumayam. Dr. Dhanapati. Welcome, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. வாழ்க வளமுடன். Be blessed by the divine.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வளமுடன். குரு வாழ்க, குருவே துணை. My sincere respects and thanks to Dr. Rabindranath, Director R&D, and also to all my colleagues, participants in this conference. Thanks to the opportunity and also be a part of this conference. Dear friends, we can understand this term genetic center. Actually, the subject given to me is genetic center and consciousness, and what is the relationship between these two. First, let us understand what is genetic center. So we can understand this term genetic center through the meaning of gene. What is the essence of this concept? Genetic center. The center where the basic elements of characters which are in hereditary in nature are stored. So it is a storage place of hereditary characters. When a small inorganic mass gets a magnetic circulation, the magnetic waves become intensified in the center of the mass according to the specific gravity principle, forms concentrated magnetic wave. When they get interaction with the universal magnetism, the central magnetic pool is characterized, which becomes the genetic center. This is now an organic mass and can then evolve as a living being. This is the way the genetic center is emerged. Let us understand the structure of this genetic center. The millions of energy particles are in circulation in this magnetic pool leads to the formation of astral body. Because of the intensified magnetic pool, the 5 elements are attracted and joined together leads to the formation of the physical body with all organs including senses. So the physical body, astral body, and magnetic body are functioning as a one unit in all the living beings. So it can also be understood that the magnetic body which keeps other two bodies together, and so all these three working together at the middle point of the physical body. So now let us understand the core of the genetic center. So here, what is the essence of genetic center? We can also say that what is the central part of the genetic center. So inner core of the genetic center is appreciated as Brahman or divine state. So the inner core Brahman called space has inherent nature of self-compressive surrounding pressure, also called gravity. This attractive force at the center of the biomagnetic waves of the living being becomes its genetic center. This gravity which holds together the life force, biomagnetism, and sexual vital fluid is genetic center. The gravity which is at the middle or seat of circulations of sexual vital fluid, it is the essence of the physical body, then biomagnetism and life force, and thus maintains all the activities. So this original force gravity has emerged and function as twofold force of attraction and repulsion. Thus has two functions. One is shrinking by compression and then expansion by repulsion. The one force, gravity, has emerged as two forces, compression and repulsion. This gravity is nothing but Brahman. So here compression, in the compression what is happening? No, the recording of imprints of character is happening. This is due to compression. So the compression is responsible for the imprinting. And number two is expansion by repulsion. When the records are magnified by the repulsion, it is called as mind. So repulsion is responsible for the function of the mind. Then consciousness. So here consciousness is defined as omniscient, radical and universal principle. The meaning of consciousness is truth or Brahman. Now, since the inner core of the genetic center is appreciated as Brahman or divine state, it can be understood that the core of genetic center is consciousness. So here the core of the genetic center is consciousness and also gravity. That means force and consciousness is the core of genetic center. So the order of function, how the consciousness is functioning. The order of function, that is a pattern, precision, regularity in everything and everywhere is consciousness. The consciousness is playing all the roles in the whole universe as order of function in everything through the power of universal magnetism, biomagnetism and mind. Consciousness and the magnetism are one and the same because it cannot be separated. Consciousness is an expression in terms of philosophy. Magnetism is an expression in terms of physics or matter. So the biomagnetism in the living beings, in its conversion into pressure, sound, light, taste and smell, also becomes perceiving phenomenon called mind. So consciousness extends its perceptual activities through the biomagnetic field of organism and feels everything, every incoming clash of wave as a pain, pleasure, peace or ecstasy. Thus in living being, the absolute space, the Brahman, is functioning as consciousness, knowledge and mind. So the word mind is used to describe the behavioral qualities of the living beings. Actually, the inner meaning of consciousness and mind is one and the same. Consciousness is the radical universal principle and mind is a phenomenon of momentary transient concepts, feelings and sensory perception. So the base of the mind wave is also consciousness. Otherwise, the consciousness extension through biomagnetic field is mind. So the extended psychic activity of consciousness is mind. This is how the core of mind is said to be consciousness or primordial state or almighty. So now let us discuss about the concept called soul. The development of consciousness is character. So the functional character of consciousness in all the living beings is called as soul. That means here the consciousness itself is characterized. So the consciousness itself is a character. The consciousness develops to perceptual ability, that is called as mind. The same consciousness further develops its character through sixth sense, which has the faculty of realizing its own self. So in the biomagnetic field, all the waves of psychic experiences and physical actions are stored as an invisible record. These stored imprints are everlasting in wave form. When the genetic center is a compendium of all the secrets of the universe and imprints of karma, it is termed as soul. So the consciousness itself is said to be the soul when it is characterized. So So here the consciousness extends as a mind through the medium of biomagnetic wave, which is in centrifugalism. And the same is characterized due to the interaction with the external environment and then reacts through the same biomagnetic wave, which is in centripetalism. So consciousness is functioning as a mind, so it is also characterized. So this characterized consciousness, which is inherent of biomagnetic domain, is soul. It is also called as aham, ullam, atma. This is the relationship between genetic center and consciousness. So center, the core, is nothing but the consciousness, the Brahman. When it is characterized, it's becoming mind. The genetic center is characterized consciousness, which is based in the genes when we talk about the physical body. In living being, function as the combined function of physical body containing magnetically polarized cells, astral body, biomagnetism, genetic center, brain, soul, or otherwise called as consciousness, the basic state of mind. And the mind, the wave function of mind, and also senses. These are the 8 faculties. With all these faculties, the living being functions. So the characters can be modified and consciousness can be purified and developed through the tool of yoga. The mind, which is impure, which is characterized, this can also again characterized through the purification and can become again the God, Brahman. So I conclude my presentation with this point. I am thanking you all and the organizers and the participants and for giving this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Janpati. Be blessed by the divine. The next, may I call upon Dr. S. Lakshmanan. He will enlighten us on cause and effect, செயல் விளைவு தத்துவம். Dr. S. Lakshmanan, sir.
Yes, I am here with you. I am joining. வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வையகம், வாழ்க வளமுடன். குருவே துணை. I am very happy to be amongst you, dealing on the very precious topic, consciousness. First of all, I am to thank Dr. Rabindranath for his arrangements and the coordination. It's a very good opportunity for us. I also feel our responsibility also to make this knowledge, consciousness is available to everybody in the world. The consciousness is one of the important qualities of the divine. I'm also expressing my good wishes to all the participants in this evening. Now, let's go for the topic, cause and effect system of the nature. The base, or otherwise the substratum of the universe, is a totality, that is the absolute space. That absolute space only got self-activated, evolved into the universe up to humans. To know about this, we have to understand these qualities of plenum, force, consciousness, and time. Since we are to concentrate on the topic of consciousness, we have to go further on that aspect only. The consciousness is nothing but the functional order of the divine, as Swami Vedatri Maharshi puts it. It starts from its first stage itself, self-compression with kinematic quivering. That only makes the absolute space to crumble into minutest particle, that is giving out the the magnetic effect. That only is the cause for this consciousness